We are back. It's the usual Friday fun, 94 Feet of Life, Big Shot, Germ, MJ, J Ham, Trav. Remember, if you on Instagram, the dot scene, THE.SCEN on Instagram, Twitter heads, SCEN underscore THE. 94 Feet of Life is a Facebook group. If you're watching this, you already should be subscribed. You should already have your notifications on. Listen, we're going to talk about the first month of the NBA season, the standings, giving us some insights to what's going on. And then we're going to have some fun. This is just one of them organic conversations that just kind of comes up. So we're going to talk about the evolution of video basketball games, all the way from Jordan versus Bird to the current day of NBA 2K21. MJ, I'm gonna let you lead this. Standings, East or West, man. Kind of talk us off. What's going on this first month?
All right. Well, what I will want to say is, as far as the NBA goes, is kudos to the teams that are, what I'm saying, currently playing. They're competitive. There is no easy nights. There is no easy wins. Ironically enough, we're about 14 to 16 games in, and it's about 10 teams that are within 3 games of the playoff hunt. So we're looking at that. Actually, it's 13 teams that are only 4.5 games back from first in the Eastern Conference. So we got the Raptors, Bulls, Hornets, Heat. That's 13, 12, 11, and 10. We got the Magic at 9 and 7 and 8. The Knicks are 500. They are currently holding the 8th seed. The Cavs and Hawks are also 500. They're 7 and 6. The Nets are only 2 games above 500, which are 9 and 7. Got the Pacers 8 and 6. Got the Bucks 9 and 6. Got the Celtics 8 and 5. And surprisingly, the Philadelphia 76ers are 10 and 5.
Let's start right there. And I'm gonna go MJ and I'm gonna go to Ham. We know in the 5 years of 94 Feet of Life, we have had plenty of fun at the expense of the New York Knickerbockers. We've had a ton of fun. However, credit where it's due on the start. Now, could it all go to pieces? Yes, it could. But Ham, MJ, let's talk about this, a 500 Knicks ball club right now.
Well, y'all know I'm the captain, insult the Knicks just for kicks. That's just how I roll. But when I watch them, and I sat down and watched them several times this year already, we pretty much commented, particularly on draft night. We were like, yo, Tibbs don't really like playing young dudes. They ain't got no choice right now. They all young.
Right.
And they're young. He implemented his defensive structure system that he likes to put in. I don't know if nobody's, begging for the ice bags just yet, rolling with dude, but they're young and they getting out and they compete. They hungry. And the fact that they really are playing like with house money, especially a cat like Julius Randle, he can go get you 20 and 15 nightly and do other stuff as well. RJ Barrett turning the corner, getting his looks, getting his production. I like what I'm seeing. Like you said, though, Big Shot, it could go by the wayside by this time next month. I don't know, though. I kind of like what I'm seeing with him. I'm going to keep rocking with him. I'm going to keep talking bad about him because it seems to work for right now. But I'm going to give him a shot, too, so just what it is.
MJ, other things in the East that kind of stand out to you this first month as you look at the standings?
Well, I'll give some love to the Knicks, too. As of right now, Julius Randle is averaging 22, 11, and 6. He is leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists. That is impressive. Just got to continue to keep doing it. He is playing 37.1 minutes a game. Usually, in today's NBA, usually you don't see people playing it at the 37-minute mark, but him and RJ Barrett is. So let's not get it twisted. Tibbs didn't turn over a complete new leaf.
No.
Who we like is who we like it. If he like you, he gonna play you. So let's just hope that these guys stay healthy. Me personally, it got to be the 76ers. And it's not just because they're in first place and I'm just riding a wave. It's how they're doing it. Doc Rivers, people forget, Doc Rivers played on those New York Knicks squads when you had Patrick Ewing. He played on those Atlanta Hawks squads with Dominique Wilkins. He understands the concept of spacing. He understands the concept of how to get a dominant post player the ball in spots where they like and how to get players to play off of that. So in a league in which everybody is trying their best to get rid of the post, he doubled down and said, you know what, I have somebody special here. He could change this game back to how it used to be by himself. And basically what's been going on is since Embiid has lost a lot of weight, Doc has been feeding him a lot. Ironic how that works. So as long as he keeps that weight off, please expect Embiid to be an MVP candidate. He has been very dominant. The role players around him, they know exactly what they need to do. You got guards who they may not be standoutish as far as names go. Shake Milton, Steph Curry's brother, Seth Curry, even Tyrese Maxey, the rookie. You have these guys that the names don't jump out on paper, but these are consummate professional players who are going to make shots when you give them shots, who is going to attack and make the right read, who's going to compete defensively. And then, Tobias Harris, a lot of things that people forgot, and I'm going to move this over to Trav. Tobias Harris' best season was in the Clippers. And who was coach of the Clippers when he had his best season? You got it, Doc Rivers. So it just goes back to, how relationship and chemistry does work in the NBA, but it's not the way people explain it. It's not a kumbaya type thing. This is still a business. I'm pretty sure they have arguments all the time at practice. But as long as you got people who got mutual respect and can get it right, and you have a coach that wants to play the other strengths, this is what you get. So we'll see what happens. Trav, what you think?
Those are two good teams. I mean, they're playing good quality ball, man. But it's a good and it's a bad right now. The two teams that I'm looking at right now in this East, it's your finals runner-up, Miami Heat. We said this before about the bubble. The bubble benefited them. Right now, it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good for them right now. I mean, they're going to play hard. Of course, they got players that's going to play hard. But right now, Miami, I mean, y'all, there's a lot of season left right now. But as of right now, we want to talk about the 8, but I got to put this other team out here too. We got Miami, and right now, Toronto ain't looking good either. Not looking good right now. So we got a lot more season left. Again, the 76ers are the top dogs right now, but good old Brooklyn Nets, they coming. They coming. Yeah. They are coming. Yeah. So best believe, John, they coming. Holler at your boy, man.
Hey, man. Speaking of Brooklyn, and this is gonna make a nice transition. The young Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that we I'm not gonna say we, because I don't want to speak for another man. I did not like the way that roster was constructed to start the season, and I still have some issues with it. But to be fair, the Sexton, young bull, has been unbelievable to start the season. Andre Drummond, we know what it is. It's 18 and 15 every night, right there in the book. But as MJ talked about, the standings, Cleveland right now sitting right around that A spot. Germ, our Ohio correspondent, let's talk about Cleveland, and then we're gonna segue into, of course, the big story, the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, remember our conversation we had about Cleveland on the phone off the record too, Germ. Remember what I said?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all I'm gonna say is, man, it's just the guards have played a lot better than they did last year. That's number one. There has been a maturation there. Colin Sexton been in the lab a little bit. He still look people off, but he's starting to look more for people a little bit more. But they're using him in his strength, which is important. You did acquire, Cleveland is hoarding like about 10, 15 big men, it seemed like. They got all the ones in the league. But it looked like when I watched the game the other day with Brooklyn, I watched the entire game. Jared Allen gives them the best chance because of the way he plays. That's not a shot at saying that Drummond is not a good player. It's just saying when Drummond get to doing that extra stuff and trying to be the point guard, running up the court, so I'm going to head out. That's all I'm going to say on that. Now, transitioning to Brooklyn, man, I'm going to make it real simple. I watched a couple of things from this game, and I took 2 things from it. They just got to figure out the rotation that they're going to have with the big 3 in. That's all it really is. And it comes down to effort. Effort is what it's about. When they cared in the last 7 minutes of the game, Cleveland was overwhelmed. When they cared in the first, 4 minutes of overtime, Cleveland was overwhelmed. Difference is you didn't get yourself enough space for you to be able to relax because you had Colin Sexton that just wouldn't give up. So when you see him hitting threes that he don't normally hit, that's just a player with supreme confidence this game. It's going to happen. You're going to get the team's best shots every time that you lace them up. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
And Kyrie, remember, this is the guy wearing your old number, that the same number that you wore when you hit the big shot. Maybe some of you is still in that jersey number. You never know. Maybe you transferred your powers to Colin.
Yeah.
But I like what I see from both teams. I do think that Brooklyn is going to be a problem. I know everybody overreacted and everything like that. They said, well, they don't got no depth. Well, you got a situation where the bench really didn't score a lot of points. Some of these guys haven't been playing. Some of these guys have not been playing. Mm-hmm. So what is it that you're asking them to do? You're asking them to come in and they have to figure out their role. They have to figure out what they're going to be doing. Also, there's 3 roster spots for Brooklyn that they got to fill. They filled one of them with a big. They're going to fill another one of these roster spots with another guy. Y'all just better hope that this guy, that the guys that they pick don't end up being in that Draymond Iguodala type of mold. Because then y'all gonna really be emotional. Grown men are really gonna cry.
Yeah. I think with Steve Kerr, the next month and a half is figure out what combinations we can play where I can sit 2 of the 3. Steve Nash. I'm sorry, Steve Nash.
We was just talking about Steve Kerr though, so it don't matter.
Right. So what combinations can I play where I can sit Durant for 5 minutes here? Can I sit Kyrie 5 minutes here? Right. Or can I sit 2 out of 3 for 5 minutes here? I think that's really what he's doing at this point. Is just figuring out combinations, who can play with who. So as we kind of talked about off camera, I'm not worried about Brooklyn until about March 1st. Just they need at least a month of all 3 of those dudes together just to see what's what. I think seeding doesn't matter for them. All they have to do is they're very similar on a football front to Germ's Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Trash Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We just got to get in. If we're in it, that's all that matters. So I think you'll see Brooklyn lose some games they maybe shouldn't lose. Yeah. They may be like a third seed in the East. Could happen.
Just know that they're gonna put the mustard in the mayo on them Pirellis, man. That's all you need to know.
12.
As long as Brooklyn is in it, problems. MJ, Western Conference. What's going on out in the West?
Well, what's going on out in the West is the Lakers are looking like a championship team. Even though they brought some people in that I personally thought would take a little bit more time to gel, but look like they're fitting in like gloves. You got Montrezl Harrell, who is doing an incredible job playing with AD. You also have Dennis Schroeder, who stepped in. He looks great. KCP has stepped in that shooter's role, and he at times looked like a third option. And if he's not going to miss his shot, then they're going to be an extremely tough out because he already does an incredible job on defense and making people work. So if you're getting offense and defense from him, that's golden. One thing about LA, and actually is now Brooklyn's problem, is what I worry about is, can Anthony Davis hold down the paint by himself? Just like with Brooklyn, can Kevin Durant in that small ball lineup that you guys are looking to end, can he hold down the paint by himself? I think that's a lot to ask for a dude coming off an Achilles injury. So if there's anything that they're going to want to solidify is a big who could protect the paint and maybe hit an open shot, or at least make enough free throws to where it won't be a hacker situation. So that's going to probably be what the Brooklyn needs to do. But that's the only thing that I'm seeing with the Lakers. Jazz look really good. Clippers look very good. We got Suns, Trailblazers at the 4th, 5th. Surprisingly, the Grizzlies are at 6th place. Shouts out to John Morant. His usage rate is relatively high, but he's incredible to watch. You got the Warriors and the Spurs rounding out the 7th and the 8th seed. You got Mavericks, Nuggets, and Thunder on the outside looking in. Thunder is only 6 and 7, so they're doing better than the Pelicans, who are 5 and 9. So we're not going to talk about teams that's lost 4 games under 500. We're just not going to talk about them. But we're going to move to Ham. Ham, anything that stands out to you with related to what we discussed?
Well, I'm coming to the hometown.
Just to
That's
give why I lied to you.
Yeah, just to give my guys their props. Ja came back last Saturday against Philly. Got the win there. Got the win on MLK Day. He came up big in there with some big plays. Then we had the unfortunate cancellation or postponement of 3 games. Hate to see that, especially when they had won like 5 in a row. They on a 5-game win streak. But we also right on that cusp of getting Justice Winslow back, Jaren Jackson Jr. and his enormous amount of foul bag. It's all coming back to the table as well. That's a good part about it. The thing that I like about this crew is that they really enjoy playing together. As young as they are, they really are out for each other. Anytime I'm mentioning Memphis, I'm mentioning Dylan Brooks as being a hawking ass dude because he letting it fly. But understood also, amongst our fan base in general. Because they Memphis people, it's funny because they hate dude for that, but it's like, that's how you play, fool. What are you talking about? But I get it. It's kind of like you just, you look in the mirror, you can't stand it. But what Dylan don't do, when he's not really hitting it on the offensive end, he leaving it out there on the defensive end too. That's the part that really can make you appreciate it in that matter. But we got Ja back. That's the cool part. Waiting on the other 2 to get back. Jonas got to get back out of COVID protocol as well. So we'll be cool. Just got to keep competing because that bottom 6, like 6 through 12, that might flip flop throughout the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
So that win over Phoenix though was like solid the way they got that because they shut down D-Book for the evening. They made hell for Chris Paul. Good stuff. DeAndre Ayton though, going back to our 30 episode, he living up to that. Partner's a grown man.
No face-up jumpers.
Ooh.
Yeah, as long as he don't fall in love with that face-up jumper. And Jeremy and I talk about this off camera all the time. Like, stop shooting that. Please.
But what changed? What changed is you now have a 35-year-old disgruntled floor general who will get in your ass if you get to doing stuff that you ain't supposed to be doing.
Man, listen.
That's what's changed.
Uncle Chris.
Uncle Chris plays no games with them. You can tell, like, he will literally dribble on the wing. I saw the game against Memphis. I saw him dribbling on the wing and looking at DeAndre like, you know what to do. You're not getting this ball until you do what you're supposed to do. Nah, don't face me. No, don't. You better not face up. Back to the basket. Okay.
You watch Phoenix play. Phoenix and Nuggets off to a really good start. But you're right, MJ. You literally will see Chris Paul. It is. I mean, you hate to say it because you're talking to other adults, but it truly is like a father playing with his children. Like literally him dribbling the ball down the court and literally almost grabbing dudes by the shirt while he's dribbling. Like, you are supposed to be over there.
You can't even be mad at him though.
No,
can't be mad at him.
Because it's the new generation. It's frowned upon. Again, participation trophies. Like, they don't understand. We was at practice when coaches was throwing chairs. Like, it was a lot of bad stuff going on in the practices when we grew up. This little, typical me just fussing at you on the court, that's light work to us.
Chris is literally grabbing people like, listen, you're supposed to be here. Like, it's instruction on every play. So I know we got a couple of our boys who are not exactly the biggest CP3 fans, and I can kind of see why, because it's constant instruction, it's constant direction.
And
But
for the and I think it's a little PTSD for them.
Yeah, and with
It's a little PTSD for them because we all play pickup with that one dude, and usually he wasn't as good as Chris Paul, but he want to coach everybody. And I'm like, man, if you don't give me this ball on this wing and let me cook, what is you doing? Here, give it here. All that talking.
Trav, I want to bring you in because a team that the Spurs are so interesting because the Spurs just continue to hang around.
Shot making ass people.
Just it's weird combinations of players. They all kind of do the same thing. But yet, if you look at the standing, I think MJ said it's somewhere around 7th, 8th right now. As a Spurs fan, Trav, who's kind of transitioning into this very much a transitional era for the Spurs. How do you feel about them right now?
The Spurs, they're going to do Spurs things. They're going to continue to move the ball, move without the ball, make shots, make timeless shots. Patty Mills going to come in, going to continue to hit threes. Rudy Gay going to continue to do occasionally good stuff. When you got a coach that, like Coach Popovich, that actually believes in these guys, and he really puts the ball in Keldon Johnson's hand. He loves him and Lonnie Walker. He loves them young guys. He loves them, and he lets them play. And that's the thing with Pop now than what he used to be. He actually let these guys play. He let them play. The more he lets them play, they win games. And it doesn't hurt to dump the ball in at number 12. You give him a bone, he gonna turn around, he gonna bang you left and turn right. That's just what he do. Mr. Left side. And DeMar, he gonna do his thing. He's just he's much as athletic as those young guys, and he gonna get to the rack, he gonna get fouled, he gonna make jump shots. But he only cooking. So I mean, the Spurs gonna be the Spurs, man. No matter what, if we make the playoffs or we don't, they gonna be the Spurs.
Here's a very Spurs statistic for you before we move forward. 7 players averaging double figures right now, and Patty Mills is the third leading scorer on their team as we speak.
What the hell?
Shout out Patty. Shout out my man Patty Mills.
Who does that though? 7 dudes with double figures.
You know what's funny? I can explain. No, this is why I can explain the why from it. It's very simple what Popovich is doing. Popovich is pretty much like, DeMar, I don't want you scoring 29. You are responsible for making sure everybody on this court eat, as well as making sure that you eat. So we ain't settling for that mid-range. You're going to get to this rack, and then you're going to drive and kick. And then when you get it going, then you can shoot your mid-range. But I need you getting to that foul line. I need you getting to that rack, and I need you kicking that ball.
And also with Popovich, man, just in general, he's not afraid to evolve. Even if it's facets of the game that he don't necessarily care for. We saw that 2013-14 with the 3-ball. He wasn't a fan of that, but he knew he had the gunners to let it fly. Fast forward, like Trav was saying, he used to be on Tony's head when Tony was 19, 20, 21, so on and so forth. It's a different energy with Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker, DeJounte Murray. It's different energy with them. Maybe it's he's aged like fine wine because he's drinking a lot of it. So it's on the problem, man. So salute to the general, man, for real. Props to that.
John,
I gotta like they shot making ass now.
You like them because they ain't no threat like they was back.
Yeah, they are. Cause they still gonna come to 191 bill and ruin all the barbecue nacho trips and everything.
Jerm, your thoughts on the West, man? We're getting ready to go to our more fun.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I just like the Warriors team. I say this all the time, and I've been saying this all year that I like the Warriors team. Andrew Wiggins, you probably heard me. You out there shooting that jumper. It's out there looking like butter. Appreciate you for getting in the lab. I mean, it's been looking better. But do I like
Just
the shots?
say olive oil. It ain't butter. It's olive oil.
I mean, it was. Hey,
I go vegetable oil. Look,
you want to do vegan butter? Want to do vegan butter?
We go vegan. It's definitely don't got calories in it yet. Nah, they don't got calories yet.
Ouch. Shouts out to him because he's been doing his thing. Kelly Oubre is starting to figure out his role on the team a little bit, which is a good thing. As long as there is a Draymond Green on this team, Steph is still just, of course, Steph. But as long as there's a Draymond Green, they making the playoffs, man. I don't care about any of the rest of the other stuff. You give me Steph and Draymond and that young, Memphian, Mr. Wiseman. They got some new wrinkles that, hey man, these wrinkles is crazy. I was in there jumping like the referee last night in the first quarter. I was jumping. They was in there, hey man. And Steph is a shot making you know what? Because it is bad, and it is one of them situations where the man had at halftime 20 points on 10 shots. Like what I don't know what to say. I don't know what do you say. I mean, he coming off the thing. Just, all right, I'm going to the other end. Like what? So, and the Lakers, I'm gonna give y'all some credit. First of all, LeBron, when you start walking to the other end when you shooting jumpers, why you ain't? When you start doing this, I mean, you like. I'm like, okay, all right, well, all right, bro, all right, cuz. Hey, shout out to Dennis the Menace. He don't look too bad in the Laker uniform there. He killing it. Trez, give Trez some credit for being the energy guy that he has been. Anthony Davis is still one of the top 2-3 players in the world. I don't care. I don't really care what happens. I love the way they played defense on Giannis last night. They really made it very, very interesting. I still see a lot of charges that the referees don't call, but we ain't gonna go there. I'm excited. This Laker team. I'm here for it. And last but not least, the Clippers. As much as I want to critique them, if Paul George is engaged, if Claw is Claw, you always got a shot, and you're gonna be deep in the playoffs.
Hey, give Paul George his props too. He even dunking on people now. Look,
hey, now listen.
Glad to see that you're in a better place mentally, sir.
Yes. Now let me say this. Back in the day, I used to call Paul George Prime 8. That's what I used to do. Going into the video game segment, when Paul George was first with Indiana, back in the day in them 2K days, I used to play with Indiana, and Paul George was my guy. And I used to go Paul George Prime 8 and start dunking on folks. That's what I need to see. Go Prime 8, baby. Before the injury, go Prime 8. Let's go.
So I'm gonna help my boy producer MJ out with the easy cut for the show. Remember, this is The Scene, THE.SCEN on Instagram, SCEN_THE on Twitter. We're now gonna go into Friday Fun, the video game portion of the show. Trav, I know you on mute. Come off mute. This is open discussion.
Oh, I'm ready.
Some things just come across organically. And we talked about video games just one day in our little group chat and said, hey, make it a show. So, fellas, let's talk about it, man. Now, we are all, Germ is a little bit younger than us, but this is why it's going to be an interesting conversation of video games, how it's kind of evolved. For me, the first game, like probably it was Double Dribble. Shout out to the LA Breakers, the Chicago Ox, the Boston Frogs. I forgot the New York team. Double Dribble was like the first game. Arcade, Nintendo Entertainment System, fellas. So, this again, we ain't really got like questions and an agenda. We just talking about games here. Ham, whoever want to jump in, I ain't even gonna point to. Double Dribble was for me. What was like the first game that you really liked? First hoop video game, anybody?
Double Dribble was cool. But here the trip was that I was one of the kids that owned a Sega. I didn't own a Nintendo. So I got different titles and topics. And so when Pat Riley came with his joint, it was almost like Double Dribble's older cousin. Graphics was kind of similar in that way, just more upgraded. Play style was a little different. Had more teams, although they were bogus. You know, I don't know where the hell the Ox from Chicago No, they come from double
That was the
dribble.
New York Eagles. The New
Right.
York Eagles was
But
double dribble.
but Pat was probably the first one that I liked prior to that. But also, I was privy enough to get to play the original Lakers versus Celtics, not the one on Genesis, but the one on the IBM computer. Big
Mm.
bro right up the street had that joint. He a hoop head like that. He in the 94 feet of life group too. If he's seeing this, he probably will sit back laughing at it. Because we actually talked about it one day in the group. But that Lakers versus Celtics was the first one where you actually had the teams, the player licensing, all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like authentic. The same authenticity that we get, watching NBA. So that was the one that was like, yo, I got to get in this. I got to have one of these. So that was the
Mine,
start.
mine was NBA Showdown '94.
Coming back to that one.
That was mine because I remember if you got Shaq, they'll let you break the rim, and the people drive up and fix the rim. I remember that. And I also remember Sean Kemp was like a god. Like he was taking off from the 3-point line off vert, but your foot had to be on the line a little bit, so it had to be a 2-pointer because they can't give you a 3-point dunk.
Mm-hmm.
But he'd just be stationary like this, and then just turn around and just take off. And it's just like, if you just got to the right spot, he was going to dunk it. No matter if you had to run there or not. It was a vert, whatever.
That was
And,
like Tom Chambers. That was like Tom Chambers on Lakers versus Celtics and Bulls versus Lakers. Coming from that elbow.
Tom Chambers was the god on Lakers versus Celtics.
Oh man, you get in that spot and just press shoot. He's
See,
double pumping that side. He's jumping over everybody's head. And I'm gonna tell you the nastiest move besides that one. It was Dirty Michael, man. Dirty Michael used to do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh God. But the game that got me going besides, I mean, of course I seen double dribble and played that. It was Bird versus Jordan, man.
Oh yeah.
You learn
Yeah.
shoot.
Oh, yeah.
You learn how to shoot with Bird. Bird caught that Daniel Boone back. He let that thing ride. He going 10 out of 10 in that corner. Then you got Mike. Mike doing the 360, the Statue of Liberty 360. I mean, oh man, it got nasty one-on-one style. You either shoot a tray ball or you get to the rack.
Into
So
the
when
rack,
it's all
right?
said and done, when it's
So-
all said and done, when you wanna hoop, and when you got to those teenage years, if you want to play some basketball, then Coach K was it.
And I'm gonna tell you what. Coach K and NBA Live 95. Really proud of NBA Showdown as well too, because those were the first ones where you actually had set plays. So for cats that was hoopers like us, we want to run ISOs, we want to run motion, we want to run some stagger screens. You know what I'm saying? Flex and motion offense. We want all of that. The other stuff was cool, but for me personally, it was definitely one where I'm more into the simulation of the real deal. Don't give me the cookie cutter. This is why I wasn't high on NBA Jam. NBA Jam was cool, but I got NBA Jam because NBA Showdown wasn't available. And moms thought NBA Jam was cool because she seen cats flying through the air, shooting flaming threes with flaming basketball. Like, okay, I take it. But once NBA Showdown came out, NBA Jam got no play in this ride, baby.
Jerm, what was your game, man?
It was NBA Jams for me, and then after that, it became Live and 2K.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, you know what I'm saying. Live and 2K was the which one is better. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I think NBA Jam, because NBA Jams, I still got that on my phone to this day. I still be boom shakalaka. Is it the shoes? I still be in it, but it's one of the things you play occasionally. But 2K, of course, I remember back 2K for the red original with Allen Iverson on the cover.
Yeah.
With the theme music and everything like that. Oh man, look, man, 2K was that game though, man.
2K, I remember Dreamcast.
Man, look, Dreamcast, man, stop.
Dreamcast.
For that free throw, you had to push them up.
Yeah.
I was always the Raptors on Dreamcast with T-Mac and Vince, because that was the only team I really. Because Dreamcast was, first of all, you had to have hand-eye coordination to play Dreamcast.
Right.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't really rocking with that game. I actually, first off, go back to Line 95 for 1 second.
Yeah.
Every three was a double pump three if you wanted to hit it. You could not shoot a set shot on NBA Line 95.
Nope.
And Golden State Warriors, when they had Spreewell,
And
Tim Hardaway, and
Man.
Mullen, you might as well chalk it up. It was either them or Orlando. And my guy used to always use Orlando, but he could hit threes with Don Arroyo, and he used to piss me off because Don Arroyo don't hit threes.
With three.
This is where, like, look, prior to where I got to where I am in life now, it's not really much that affect me. But as a kid, a lot of it didn't affect me either. But it was certain things that brought the bitch out of me. Video games was one of them, preferably basketball. Mainly because I watched the game and I knew what dudes could do and not do. And the fact that you hit the 6 threes with Stacey Augman just didn't sit right with me. It never did. Like, so it took a lot for me to, grow out of it and be like, you know what, man, this pretty much FDG, F that game, man. Just like, it had to go FDG. So now I just play it and just be for fellowship, especially now. Because y'all, dude, you got to put in like real life trainer hours to get good on a video game now. Like,
this new 2K, I probably haven't played 2K since about probably like 2012. That's probably the last time I had a system.
I played 2K last night. This 2K21. This 2K21 is different. Like the way that it is, like I don't like all of this. I don't like the shooting meter. I do not like the shooting meter at all. They can take that and throw that SH away. I don't like that. The second thing I don't like is why is it that I'm trying to square up and shoot a jump shot and y'all got me fading like I'm doing all this? Now, listen, bruh, I didn't stop my motion. I just want to. Hey, I want to stop and pee. I want to stop and pee, and y'all got me stopping fading. I don't like it.
Hey, you know what that shot meter is the equivalent of? It's the equivalent of Bleacher Report sending the news like this could have happened because you can actually hit green on a meter and still miss the shot.
Yeah,
you can still miss it. Like you did good, but it didn't. Either I hit the shot or I missed the shot.
The most interesting thing I think with today's 2K is that, especially with cats that's in our group, younger cats, I don't see them playing NBA games. They're playing the pro-am mode. They working up the BC, and it's a different. And I'm not knocking it. You know what I'm saying? No. You know what I'm saying? It's different.
It's an unbelievable marketing tool for the league.
Oh, absolutely.
Unbelievable marketing.
I give them problems.
Yeah, and my player is perfect for him because you get to just literally practice on my player for like hours until you master just that player. Me, I'm old school. I like playing, with teams or whatever, and every dude on the team got a shot different. They shoot different. One dude, his meter fast. Another dude, this meter just shoots a set shot. Another dude, he shoots a pull up. Like, and I love the realization of it. I love that it's so realistic. But goddamn, if I'm open and I push the button, let it do what it's supposed to do, baby.
All right.
Hey, MJ,
you got a whole circle to hand off. You got to call L1 for pick and roll. Triangle for a back cut to lob it. You got to tap triangle. Like, look, why am I pushing so many buttons to do two things?
Listen, let me tell you something. I don't understand. No, you cool. I'm just being honest with you. At the end of the day, if I run the right plays and I'm doing the right things, let me make the shots that I'm supposed to make. I'm just saying, like, you ever look like you know how you this be the thing that get me. It be the dudes that be coming over, they be thinking that they be good at video games, stuff like that. You be like, bro, I know how to play basketball. So you know exactly how to break them down. You break them down, you get the shot in the corner, bong. You looking like, all right, this is the first one. I ain't gonna say nothing. We're gonna let it go. You get to the fourth quarter, you still missing these open jumpers now. And he hitting contested jumpers. Now we got a problem. Now we about to break this Mo control. And you notice I said Mo control. I ain't saying remote control. I said remote control. We about to break this job.
Try again here, man.
You ain't about to keep disrespecting me on my remote controls.
Yeah,
that's why I don't even take it personal no more, man. I'll be playing against Isaiah, man. I'll just be like, whatever, man. Isaiah, my son, y'all don't know. I'll just be like, whatever with this, man. I owe this best. No emotion.
It's on the one that I took personal. It wasn't personal. It just I put in the workout to be good in. And that was that live 2001. I think 2001. I think it's the one that had it was either Mello, no, it wasn't Mello. It was like David Robinson on the front of it.
Yeah.
And I played with her. And this is the power forward era. This is where you had Tim Duncan, Chris Webber.
She was a beast.
Antonio McDyess. You had all them folks.
Late 90s.
All them folks on there. Of course, I got the Spurs. I used to know how to run the high-low with Tim Duncan and David Robinson. And I had Sean Elliott and Derek Anderson in each corner. So if I double, kick it to one of them, that's a common shot. Easy.
Right.
That's a 3-and-D guy. My partner used to get Sacramento. He knew how to play with Blighty Device, and he was a monster with Chris Webber.
Mm-hmm.
And my other roommate, he knew how to run with Sheed and McDyess. And McDyess, he could shoot, but he jumped so high, he can block everybody's shot. With me, with Timmy couldn't dunk like that, but he had a stutter step to get through the traffic, and he can pull up and shoot, and he can finesse and head up.
Like the
So
real.
I have to analog and dunk it if I really have to dunk
it.
But with the advantage that I had over all of them, it was David Robinson.
I got a quick question for y'all. So in every video game, it's a glitch in which if you just learn how to play with one player, no matter how trash they are, you can make them into like a 20, 30-point score. Who was y'all player and what video game was it? I can tell you mine off bat. Mine was NBA Live 2000 with Greg Anthony. Now, Greg Anthony could hoop, but I had him averaging like 7 threes a game. Greg don't shoot threes. It was almost to the point where I had to put Damon Stoudemire on the bench for Greg to end the game.
Man.
Who was my glitch?
With the PlayStation 3. I want to say it was like the 2K. It was like the 2K3, 4, something like that. It was Tim Duncan the spin move. Tim Duncan used to do a spin move. I used to do a spin move to get through traffic and pump fake. I see people jump.
Hate that pump fake. I hate that pump fake.
I got 2 of them actually. One was going back to live, I think 2000. And I was in college then, so the whole crew was like 8 of us, and we running a season mode. You know what I'm saying? Like this, just the whole.
Hey, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah. That's how we used to get down, and then we even like created our own player too. But the caveat to that was that the creative player couldn't be ranked over 85 ratings wise. That was the max. You know what I'm saying? So we had to pretty much balance your player out. I was running with the Bucks when they had Sam I Am, Ray, Big Dog, and Tim Thomas was averaging like 23 a night by squad, you know, so doing the thing there. But then also on live, I think 06, that's when they added the freestyle moves to it. I used to have She coming out the high block across the middle, just throwing the hook. Just couldn't block it, couldn't do nothing with it. And then it was used to be live because especially when they playing at home, the crowd used to get going. They just she.
Yeah.
My glitch guy was NBA 2K11. That's probably the last 2K I really played. I had a season with the Hawks. Boy, Josh Smith was out there looking like ABA Dr. J, boy. Jay Smooth was first team All NBA. I think he was defensive player of the year. Hey, Jay Smooth was out there on bits like a young Dr. J.
I got a couple.
Jay Smooth was a hooper.
Yeah.
He wasn't 28.
He wasn't putting up 28, 15, and 12.
No. Hey,
So I got a couple. Go ahead, Big
John.
Shot.
No, you got it, John.
No, you got
it. So one of mine was Kobe. Because once you got to the point where you understood some of the things that you could do with all of the players, how you could post them up. Imagine going to the block. Imagine going to the block and hitting that, and then you turn around with a perfect release, like Kobe.
He was really Kobe.
That was a glitch. Like then also one of his signature shots is actually the fadeaway from the side of the court. So once you get the timing down with the fadeaway, it's automatic. So once he get hot and you start shooting that, you just didn't miss. The second guy was LeBron in 2013 and 2014. LeBron was the only dude in the game that got to the hole every single time, and you could not do nothing about it. So what I used to do, this is really funny. So what I used to do is, because I had everybody want to play with LeBron, I used to just take teams that had big men, and I used to just go in the paint, step out the paint, come back to the paint, put my arms up.
But you was the Mavericks.
You Tom Thibodeau with Boston.
I did the whole thing. Dude was like, so basically you figured out how to stop pretty much because you're not just about to dunk every play.
Yeah.
With you
all right, now real quick too. Who was the player that used to just bust your ass every time you played against them? I got two for this one. And my homie Anthony McBride, he is the reason that made me numb to video games because this dude was so good at the game. Individually, he'll just take one person and cook me the whole game. Obviously, it was Kobe. Kobe was one of them. But on the low, when James Harden was a sixth man on OKC, man, every time James Harden came into that game, man, it was blues. It was worse than Kobe because he would hit the and ones. Kobe wouldn't hit the and one. So if I did get that BS foul that I didn't do anything on, where I'm just standing there and he running to me, it'd be like, okay, at least he's shooting free throws. James Harden will hit it.
Like real life.
But this was before he turned into real James Harden. How did they know? How did they know?
I don't know.
How did they know? It was almost like they forecasted this dude's career because they had him better than Kobe in 2K12.
I got to think about that one. I'm trying to. It's a.
Who was the guy? I know when I used to play. Who used to give me the blues?
I just had one dude, right, that I used to play video games with.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter what team. It don't matter what time of day. It don't matter what day. It didn't matter who was home, who was away. It didn't matter what stage of the game he was in. He knew how to shoot with every player in 2K. When I tell you that it was bad, it was bad. You imagine going to somebody's house to play video games and you didn't even leave with your pride.
It happened often with me.
I'm talking about he playing with the Cavs. This is when LeBron was with the Cavs. And I remember he's like, oh, no, not the Varejao. Man, got Varejao hitting threes and everybody.
He moved all the marks up, man.
Yeah, look, this is what I said. Hey, this is what I did. At the end of the day, I was like this. After that day, I never played Xbox again. After I played with him. Bruh, Xbox is different than PlayStation. PlayStation is at least more realistic.
It's very different.
Because them Xbox shooters, you could tell them Xbox shooters from them PlayStation shooters.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a PlayStation. When I was gaming, I was a PlayStation. I was PlayStation. Xbox, I was never on Xbox. PS1, PS2, PS3.
Xbox had that big ass controller, man. That original
Husky controller. That controller Husky.
I ain't want to mess with that.
Big ass Chevy box.
You better out playing with the laptop, just holding the laptop in your hand.
Now, Jared, your story about the defensive strategy that you had on Braun reminded me of the one that I played my guy with when he had the Kobe and Shaq Lakers. I'm running with Orlando with Grant Hill, T-Mac, Darrell Armstrong, that crew. You know what I'm saying? I'm running relatively small because I got Grant running the 4. I got Mac on ball. I moved Darrell Armstrong to the wing with Mike Miller. That way, all 4 of those, any one of those can run, on ball. He got Shaq and Kobe. I decided, and this is when the league first allowed zone play. So I'm going through. This is what me and Trav was talking about earlier with the sets. You get to run stuff the way you actually put some scheme into what you're doing. I'm just gonna play a 2-3 zone. I extended it out. I played the 2-3 zone. He getting looks from the corner just off just general ball rotation. I'm contesting, but he thinking he getting open looks. Clank, we running the other way. Shaq ain't getting back on the other end that quick, pal.
Right.
And I'm running. I got Mac and on ball, and everybody else is just in lane sprinting. We end up winning by like 20-25. He
Yeah.
couldn't figure out why though. I'm like, I beat him a second time. After I beat him a second time, I had to tell him how and why this is happening to you. You think you got to look just when you thought you did.
Right.
We
Now
out to
I
the
want to talk about the game. Trav there. Trav mentioned it. To me, my favorite basketball game ever, and that was Coach K '95.
Okay.
The most fun. He was just a little too ahead of his time. That's why we got the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit. Unfortunately, it was a little too far ahead. You had the real colleges. You had their numbers. You didn't have a name, but you knew who was who. I mean, even Ed O'Bannon and Charles O'Bannon had the big ass sleeves in the game. Like we knew who that was the first game I remember that had like a real season that kept stats. It had rankings. So it had like the college fold rankings.
USA Today top 25.
It had a tournament. It had like the Elite Eight. Like Coach K '95 was the best. Shout out to Virginia, my favorite team on the game. My man Curtis Staples, Harold Dean, Junior Burrow, Corey Alexander, Jamal Robinson. Hey, Coach, if you made me say pick one game to play, all these games we have mentioned,
that's the one.
Coach K '95 is game I would play. If you put a Sega in my house right now, I would play Coach K '95 right
Big
now.
Big shot.
That could be arranged.
I got a question. Name a game that actually ran sets that you ran in high school.
Coach K.
Okay,
Coach K.
Okay.
Coach K ran they ran the UCLA flex motion offense. We ran it in high school. They had the double horn set. We ran that in high school.
Had every
1-3-1 defense.
Coach K had the 1-3-1 zone.
1-3-1 zone.
2K don't even have the 1-3-1.
The press, the diamond and one press.
The diamond and one press. They had that.
2-1-1.
The 2-1-1. They had a diamond and two, boxing one.
Yeah.
Coach K had the pregame scouting report. Remember when you first before the game? Come on, they tell you.
Yeah.
Number 31 on UCLA is one of the best players to get around. Number 31 is one of the best players. Scouting report. Was so live.
And when it really started to get funky is when like live and the other college game started to link up, and you could be able to like get the college game drafted and put it to
transport.
Yes.
Man, listen.
Yes.
They just was taking everybody money because everybody's like, I gotta get this so I can get the dude to go hit for the next draft.
That was
that y'all go buy the same game next year anyway, so it didn't matter. It was genius.
That was March Madness because Les talked. Shout out to our guy Worldwide Les talking about NCAA March Madness, 05, 06. They had the Maui Invitation. That joint had the Maui Invitational.
It did. Now, even when you go to the March Madness level, because I had the very first March Madness as well. Timmy was on the cover of the very first March Madness. You know, but my favorite two game characters from that though was Durant in 07 on the 07 game, and Derrick Rose on the 08 game.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dog. This ain't even cool. This is like I'm cheating. Just ride around with these cats, straight up. No
And that'd be
shame.
the funniest thing about video games too. All of the freshmen or all of the rookies, they make dumb good, and they don't even be good yet. Like no, because NBA Live 04, I was killing with Darko Milicic. I was giving out buckets with Darko Milicic. Y'all couldn't tell me nothing. He had that lefty. I was jabbing posts, dunking on him like it was ugly with Darko Milicic.
Right. Like I think didn't Zion? I ain't played 2K ever, but Zion was like an 84 last year, something crazy like that.
So I went on ahead and did the cheap route. I bought the 2K20 first, like a few months back, because I had to practice. I wasn't going to just pay $60 and y'all was just going to smack me. So I practiced on that. Zion was unbelievable then, but on 21, he's unbelievable now. So it's like no matter what, if this dude get anywhere near the rim, he taking off. That's just kind of what it is. And they got him running like a deer. Like if you know how to play with any other players, you'll be fine in 2K. But the thing about it is, it just takes so much of your time. You ask yourself, is it really worth it?
It takes so much time to be good at video games. I guess because it's just so much more advanced than what we had.
It's actually stuff you can do in 2K, right? That is nothing that nobody can do about. So they have like a step through move that they do. And the thing is, if you do know how to do the step through with the analog, you can pump fake. And then when they jump, you can just lay it up and you automatically get an and one. It's like, wait, what? They got like it's certain stuff. Like I just be like,
that's a Gil Arenas play right there, man.
and that's what I'm saying. But I just be looking like, so because I got other things to do during the day and I can't play 2K all day. That's why I don't come and I don't run with y'all, because I'm not about to sit here. Like I play online. I kid you not. There was a dude that every shot in the games that we played was a green release. They start calling this man spinach.
Hey, John, I'm gonna tell you like this. First off, you never play a basketball game online. Never. Because you can't change your settings to the regular. I mean, like you got like all pro and all that stuff. You can't change that. It's on arcade mode. That's why these folks be shooting so great. That's why these folks be doing it. You can't. Rule number one in a basketball game. Never play a game online. Have them in your house so you can see they shit. And you can change it.
And there's two reasons for that. First reason, you just said it, but the second reason is because you ain't gonna say that bullshit you'll say over in the comfort of your home that you be talking. Because I be hearing some of these 14-year-olds be talking to grown man.
I never played online for that reason.
I've seen it. I won't ever do it. It's funny, but it's just funny with the game how you were saying so advanced. I was playing Isaiah a couple of weeks ago. This man challenged the foul call. Huh? Like, what button did you push to do that shit? You can do that? Like, they went to the scores table and everything. I'm like, this dude did not just challenge his foul call while I'm trying to play. He didn't do that. No, he didn't win. But that was made it worse. He knew he fouled him.
Hey, shout out to Isaiah Nurse, man. Shout out to Coach Isaiah Nurse, man. Challenge that, man. Challenge it.
Hey, I'm never playing a game with Isaiah ever.
Bruh,
he's such a challenge the foul call. I quit.
I couldn't believe it because I was like, why we ain't playing? And I'm looking, I'm like, nah, this ain't happening. And I looked up like, did you challenge the foul call? He was like, I didn't foul him. That was his response. He didn't even answer me. He was like, I didn't foul him. Well, all right, dog.
My man, Isaiah Carlisle.
Yo, hey, this dude, he is the
goat. On 2K20. This wasn't even 21. He did this on 2K20.
It's crazy.
Yo,
that man challenged the foul call.
Oh,
that's too funny.
That's too funny.
See, man, this is what look, we always say we can't go nowhere, we can't do nothing. We can't watch movies together. We can't play video. Like, what can we do? If we ever come to y'all cities, I want y'all to know when you see a bunch of grown men with the most inside jokes you ever seen.
It ain't gonna be anywhere, y'all. It ain't gonna end well.
Yeah. One day,
Bruh.
when things progress, we're gonna take 94 feet of life on the road.
We got
It's
to.
gonna be a thing.
I swear I wish I was a fly on the wall when y'all saw that though, man. They even showed Frank Vogel face because he had the Lakers. They showed Frank Vogel face like this.
Wow.
I'm like, he even got this man looking like he just challenged it. Like, what button did you push? What button is that? I need to know. Somebody, please tell me what button is the challenge button.
They got it. My man Isaiah called New York on you.
That's funny.
Hey,
That's too cold.
hey, that man violated you on your own soil.
He definitely violated you on your own soil.
Actually, on his soil, the game in his room.
Hey,
Visit.
question.
That's why he did.
Question.
Hey.
Here's a
Oh,
question.
that's what it was.
Was it a correct challenge?
No, it wasn't. But he fouled me and still had the audacity to say it wasn't a foul. So you got to think, I'm trading him in basketball. So now we got something else I got to make sure I monitor it. Because you don't even know what a foul is and what's not.
He hit you with the playground rule, man. Let's argue for the foul so we can get a little rest while we're
I'm like,
going.
you having LeBron on your team, you taking this way too serious.
Hey,
Shoot
Isaiah
for
said
it.
He LeBron for real. He know all the rules, baby.
Shoot for it.
He put a challenge on you with Braun. He got Braun on the squad. He still challenged you.
He challenged.
And that man said,
You know who I had? Do you know who I had? Who I was playing with?
Who you
Memphis. Why are you challenging Memphis?
We
Isaiah
hacking.
say ain't no court. Isaiah say he take. He has no quarters.
Isaiah said he know Jared Jackson is good for 4,000 quarter.
That man said, I ain't fouling. That was his response to me. I ain't fouling. He didn't tell me how he did it. He didn't tell me it was possible. He just said, I ain't fouling.
And there you have it, folks. Listen, every so often we kind of go off the serious basketball talk. We get into some fun stuff, man, like this. So follow us. 94 Feet of Life is the Facebook group. The.scene on Instagram. THE.SCEN. SCEN_THE is on Twitter. Listen, subscribe to the channel. Notifications on. You never know what we're going to talk about on these Friday episodes. Big Shot, Ham, Germ, Trav, and MJ. Shout out to Isaiah, a.k.a. Dick Bavetta, a.k.a. We out of here, y'all. Take it easy.